a 4-day work week is becoming a popular topic of discussions, and for a good reason. However, if it's not managed properly, it can actually be a quite flawed option. 61 companies in the UK decided last year to trial this option for about 6 months. Of the 61 companies taking part in this pilot, 18 have decided to keep this option on a permanent basis, 38 have decided to pilot it a bit longer, and 5 have decided that this option is not viable for them. The goal of the 4-day working week is actually to implement a 180-100 principle of work, meaning 100% of the pay for 80% of the time with 100% of the outcomes. When we look at public sector and private sector, reactions and implementation of this is actually quite different, with some countries and their governments fully embracing 4-day working weeks. For example, Iceland moved its public sector to 4-day working week in 2021, with the UAE following the shift in 2022, with many other countries actually looking at piloting these options from the US to Japan and Denmark. Now let's look at some of the stats from the pilot in the UK. As a reminder, it was only 61 companies taking part in the pilot. So in terms of the revenue, 35% increase in revenue on average when compared to similar periods from previous years. In terms of the overall business, average rating from managers on the productivity and overall experience was higher than baseline. 57% reduction in employee resignations during the trial. Nearly 100% of employees involved said they would prefer a reduced work schedule. In terms of overall health, 71% reported lower burnout and 39% lower levels of stress. You may be having similar conversations in your roles and your organizations. Let's go through some of the pros and cons which may help you have these conversations, give you a different perspective, and help you form your own opinion as to what you believe can work and can't work. Let's start with pros, and productivity must be a number one pro to start with. The key advantages of a 4-day work week is that employees have more time to rest and recover between work days. This can lead to increased productivity during the work week as employees are more focused and energized. Additionally, a 4-day work week can create a sense of urgency and motivation to complete tasks more efficiently, as employees know they have less time in the office or when they're working from home. By working smarter and more effectively, employees may be able to accomplish more in less time, leading to increased productivity overall. Number 2 is improved work-life balance. Working a 4-day week can greatly improve work-life balance. With one extra day off, employees have more time to spend with their family and friends, pursue hobbies and other interests, or simply relax and recharge. And this can lead to improved mental health and job satisfaction too. When employees feel more balanced and fulfilled outside of their work, they may be more productive and engaged during work hours as well. And the third one is reduced stress. Employees who have more time to reset and recover are less likely to experience burnout, which can lead to improved mental health and overall job satisfaction. Additionally, a 4-day work week can help reduce commuting time and costs, which can further reduce stress and improve overall employee well-being. Whilst these are some of the benefits on face value, if this is not implemented properly and carefully managed, there are many downsides to this option. So let's look at some of the cons. Number 1 is definitely longer hours. One of the main downsides of a 4-day work week is that employees may have to work longer hours to make up for the lost day. This needs to be managed carefully, especially with the knowledge workers, where contractual hours are often a loose framework. This can lead to fatigue and burnout, particularly if the work is physically or mentally demanding. You may be hired to work 35 hours or 40 hours a week, and I know it's a loose framework. Sometimes you have to work a lot longer to achieve certain activities. I personally don't have strong views at this stage. I'm more concerned about a lack of guidance as to how actually work gets allocated. How do we assess workload? How do we make sure people don't have too much to do on their plate? How do we make sure we give them time and space to focus on particular activities? How do we establish work etiquette, meetings etiquette, emails etiquette? That I personally think it's quite dangerous to depend on those individual working styles without actually giving people time and space to actually do their jobs much more effectively. Number 2 is reduced availability. If a company adopts a 4-day work week, it may be more difficult for clients and customers to reach employees on their days off, and this can also lead to frustrations and missed opportunities. Number 3 is difficult implementing. Adopting a 4-day work week can also be difficult for some organizations to implement. It's definitely not for everyone and needs to be carefully piloted and assessed. This is particularly true for organizations that rely on shift work, that are very service oriented, or have employees working in different time zones. It may also require changes to scheduling, communication, and other logistical aspects of the business. I personally believe that the overall organization design framework and model would also have to be reviewed. And the final one is reduced reduced pay. If employees are working fewer hours, they may also receive reduced pay because some organizations may not be happy to implement the original principle I mentioned, 100% of pay for 80% of your time. And this is something you have to be really careful about when you're applying for all these jobs. And as part of these initial job interviews, this is something I would really want to understand as to how they would actually manage work and how do they actually assess workload and how do they actually manage their expectations as well. It's something I would definitely want to understand in a bit more detail. Just to add as a side note, for those of us in the UK, I already know a couple of people who actually have compressed their hours and work 4 days a week, which means they're actually having longer days in exchange for the full-time salary. And that's something that's available to all of us in the UK. We can always submit a flexible working request and suggest this option to our employers to have us work compressed hours. But that also means that we are very likely to work on those days anywhere between 10 to 12 hours. Just to share with you a fantastic article written by Caitlin Harrington, published in Feb last year. The 4-day week is flawed, workers still want it. Workers say the shortened work week is a success, but the reality is much more complicated. In the first paragraph, you can actually find an organizational example whereby this New York-based digital consultancy switched to a 4-day work week in August. The company changed its ways of working to 4 10-hour days to fight burnout, boost morning focus time, and increase overlap time amongst its global workforce. And funnily enough, one of the partners who no longer works at this digital consultancy joked with his colleagues that their condensed work week felt like a 1990s soda commercial called It's Extreme. I have also come across a new website called 4-Day Week where you can search for jobs that are 4 days a week, which I think is a fantastic platform for all of us to explore as and when we are looking for new jobs. I personally don't have strong views about this option just as yet, apart from pilot it, go for it and see if it works for your team and your organization. If you're a little bit concerned as to whether this would work on an organizational level, you can always pilot it with a couple of teams and see how that works. I don't think this is for every organization out there. There are so many other organizations that really operate completely differently to the organizations that are knowledge worker oriented, where usually you would have that Monday to Friday work, whereas there are so many organizations out there that are service oriented, that operate 24/7 in shifts, although they could be challenged a little bit to provide better, friendlier shifts to be assessed on a regular basis. So this is something that would have to be taken into account, but for sure, absolutely go for it, pilot it, and really see if that's something that works for you. As I already mentioned, I'm much more concerned about lack of guidance as to how workload gets allocated, how is workload assessed, how is our capacity assessed, how do we have the environment where actually I can have time block, focus on particular activities and really focus on my accountability, my actions and my own outputs. And this is something I believe should be challenged a bit more in our workplaces. That's it for this video. If you have liked this video, there are many other similar ones on my channel. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.